Welcome to the cooking demonstration this year. Appreciate you coming today. This project is being funded by the Specialty Crop Block Grant Program, which is a program through the United States Department of Agriculture. So we received some funds to purchase some Nebraska produce, hire a chef to prepare some easy recipes that you folks can use. And so when you go to your market, go to a roadside stand to pick up produce, you've got some ideas of how to use those types of products. All of us know that when you come home from work, a lot of times there's a lot of different demands from your kids or other family members, so it's hard to prepare a lot of local produce on your table. So we'll have Rob here do some cooking demonstrations to teach you how to do some easy recipes. When the cooking demo is done, I will be giving you a tote bag that you can use at a farmer's market. We'll give you a cookbook that's got about 80 different recipes using locally grown produce you can find in Nebraska. I'll also give you a little bookmark that lists all the farmers markets in Omaha. You guys have any questions before we get started?
Feels like I need to shout. Everybody's so far away. Can you see me at all? Well, my name is Rob Epps. I am one of the chef instructors at Southeast Community College in Lincoln. I teach in the food service. So we do culinary arts, baking, pastry, food service management. Then what I try to do is I go out to the community and I speak at schools and high schools and elementary schools. And then Casey got a hold of me to come out and do some demos through the WIC program here in Omaha also. And the whole idea is to get the community to understand fresh vegetables, local vegetables, fruit, try to get more people to eat a little healthier, see what's out there, see what's available. So if you ever have any questions, just let me know. Shout, I can see you. Just let me know if you have any questions. I've got just a few simple things that I thought would be easy to do, quick, things that maybe you could do before you go to work, or before you leave for the day, and then come back and then they're ready to go and you don't have to mess with them the rest of the day. And then again, we just try to use, like Casey had said, as much fresh local that's available right now. And Casey went to, which market did you go to?
Weddinghoff's.
Weddinghoff's, which is just
North Omaha.
So then he just picked all of this up right out. Everything's still warm. I mean, it's not like it's been refrigerated. It came right off of the farm. So very fresh. Just rinse everything really well. You know, you want to make sure everything's clean before you use it. A couple of things that I was going to do, or I did do. So I did just a basic soup. You know, it kind of seems silly in the summertime to do a soup, but so many fresh vegetables and very quick and easy. You can set this up early. If you have a crock pot, have it on low, put it up in the morning, and then you don't have to worry about it all day. You come back and it's ready to eat, and you don't have to mess with it. Very simple. All I really did is I took some stock. You can get the low sodium, or no salt stocks, chicken stock or beef stock, vegetable stock. You can make your own. You can just use water. The nice thing about fresh vegetables is even with water, all of the flavor of the vegetables are what's going to come out. And so you don't have to use chicken stock. You can just use water, and it works just as well because you're going to taste those vegetables. And what Casey got for us right now, there's sweet corn, right? Very easy to get right now, very fresh. So I just have some basic sweet corn. All I did is, of course, you can just boil your sweet corn and then just eat it, butter and all that nice stuff. Or what you can do is you can cut the kernels off. And then once you cut the kernels off, then you can saute with them, you can add them to rice, you can add them to soups, you can do a lot more with them than just eating it right off of the cob. Cut it flat in, so you have something safe to kind of hold on, so you don't have it rolling around on you. And then you just use your knife and kind of follow the edge of that kernels on, just kind of trim it right off of the cob there. The nice thing is when they just kind of break apart on their own, individual little kernels. And then again, if you get a lot of this, freeze it. Corn freezes really well. You've seen it at the grocery stores. You can buy frozen sweet corn. And if you have the sweet corn, because there's a lot of it right now, and you don't have a time to use it, bag it and freeze it. And then you can just pull it out as you need it and use it all year round. So that's a good option if you have a lot of sweet corn to use up. Right out of the corn. Also, what I have are some green beans. Green beans are right now very in season. Regular old green beans. Just rinse them off really good. I like to trim the little bit off of the edges, just the tips, and then sometimes there's a little burn or brown in. Just trim that right off. I just cut them into small pieces and put them in there. Let's see, what else did I put in there? Green peppers, everybody like green peppers? So green bell pepper, just rinsed it off, took off the top, pulled out the seeds, and then I just diced it. See, I took out the seeds, and just cut them up into little pieces to put in the soup. I was gonna do jalapeno, but I don't know how many people like spicy. If you like spicy, throw some hot in there, but if you don't have to. I didn't put them in there this time. Let's see what else is in there. A little bit of garlic. So you can get garlic out at the farmer's market, or you can get it from the grocery store. If you don't like, have fresh garlic, you can use garlic powder. That works too. But if you can get fresh garlic, it's nice, pretty easy to cook with if you can get it. Let's see, what else did I do? That's really all I put in there. Salt and pepper, a little bit of rosemary, a little bit of thyme, and just enough salt so that it kind of tastes good and I can flavor it. And a little bit of pepper, and that's it. Set it on your crock pot, nice and low, and then just leave it alone. By the time you come back in the afternoon, it'll cook down, it'll be nice and flavorful. I did throw in a couple potatoes. The reason I throw in some potatoes is because of the starch. Potato starch is going to help kind of thicken it a little bit. It's not going to get really thick like a stew, but it will thicken it a little bit, so it's going to give a little bit of body to it. But that's kind of optional. If you like potatoes, you don't like potatoes. But red potatoes are available right now. There's a lot of them out there. So cut that, just let that cook down. Let's see, what else do I got? Cabbage. Oh, how many of you like cabbage? Red cabbage? It's nice and sweet. What do you usually do with your cabbage? Just boil it, braise it. My favorite, not the healthiest thing, but cook up some bacon. And then saute your cabbage in there, and then just put a little bit of vinegar and a little bit of water, and just let it cook down so it's really tender. It's not the healthiest, but it's really good. The other thing you can do is you can eat it raw, like a salad. So all I did was because it's so large, I just cut a piece off of it. And then I came through and I just shredded it really thinly. So now it's nice and thin. If it's really long, like this is very big, I just came back through and cut it into smaller pieces. And it seems kind of weird, but yes, you can eat cabbage just like a salad. Nice thing about red cabbage is it's got a little bit of sweetness to it, so it's not quite as bitter as maybe some of the green cabbages get. So we can make a nice salad, a nice summer salad, a little bit of cabbage, fresh tomatoes. Right now, tomatoes are coming out. So try to get your hands on some fresh tomatoes. If you're growing tomatoes at home, I've noticed that because we've got a lot of rain, they look a lot of tomatoes, but they're not very red yet. So hopefully the sun stays out and we get nice ripened tomatoes. Hopefully the sun stays out for a while. So all I did with the tomatoes, I just came through and I just sliced it in half, took off the stem end, just cut that out. I'm going to come through and just dice it to smaller pieces again. So now I've got some nice diced tomatoes, nice and fresh. Throw that in with our cabbage. Cucumbers, very in season again. One of those nice summer vegetables. Yes?
Do y'all have the green tomatoes ready for like the fried green tomatoes?
Right now they would be. I don't know if too many of the farmers might bring them out. It kind of depends on the farmer if they'll bring them out to the markets or not. But I've seen them at a couple of markets, like at the Exarban market, or in Lincoln I've seen them at the South market. Right now would be the time because they're a little underripened.
Yeah.
They hold up when you fry them.
Because we went to most of the markets, they wouldn't even have no products ready or have nothing ready.
Nothing like that right
at
now.
all. At all.
Yeah.
Just like the seasoning, like, what you call them, green little leaves for like seasoning.
Right, yeah, like rosemary,
Yeah, that's
like
what basically.
all the herbs and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been so wet. Hopefully, now is the time, like I said, with this, what Casey had found is there's a lot more tomatoes now. So you'll see more of those, a lot more like zucchini, squash, summer squash. So you'll see a lot more of that. Corn, always corn. We live in Nebraska, always corn. So it should be more now, especially just August. You should see a lot more of those summer vegetables coming out, a lot fresher. So they should be getting there. Cucumbers. How many of you like cucumbers? Like cucumbers? Okay. So with the cucumber, a couple things you can do. I'm I'm only going to use a little bit of it. Because you can take the seeds out of it. If you've ever had a cucumber kind of bitter, the seeds are very bitter on some of the cucumbers, so you can take those out like a spoon, or if you have a knife, you can cut it into quarters, and then just with it at an angle, you can just cut all the seeds out at once. So I have all the seeds cut out just at once, and now I can slice that up. You can leave them in, but if you get it where it's very bitter, that's probably what it is those seeds. You can go through and take those out. It helps to have a nice sharp knife. Sharp knives are always better than a dull knife. If it's a dull knife and you have to push and push, then it's dangerous. But if it's nice and sharp, it just goes right through. Another nice thing to have is a cutting board. Just a plastic cutting board, even those little thin ones that you can then bend and scoop out. Those work really well. Try to avoid metal or glass cutting boards because they'll hurt your knife. So you want something plastic, because it's going to be better for your blade. It'll last longer. Your knife. Got some cucumbers. And then what I did with some of the sweet corn is I boiled it just to kind of tenderize it a little bit, and then I put it in some cold water to kind of stop the cooking. And then you can eat it in a salad, just like you would to the pot. You can just eat it raw, but I cook it a little bit, just boiling water. Cook it for a couple minutes, 2 minutes, and then put it in some ice water, some really cold water to stop the cooking. And now you've got tender cooked sweet corn that you can then throw in a salad and have it cold instead of hot. And the same thing, you just want to use your knife and come along and trim off the kernels. Then for a dressing for this, you can do your favorite Italian dressing, something light like a vinaigrette. I just got vinegar and oil, so you can just make your own vinaigrette. Another thing that works really well are like fruit vinaigrettes, raspberry vinaigrette or strawberry vinaigrette. Right now, because it's summertime, it's lighter, it has a nice airiness to it. So you don't want anything heavy like ranch. Don't eat ranch. Bad for you. Stay away from that stuff. It's not that bad. I'm just kidding. As a cook, it's the worst thing you can see is when you cook somebody really good food and they just throw ketchup, ranch all over it. That's okay. If you like it, that's okay. So I'm just going to put a little vinegar and oil on there, just like if it was a salad, which it is. I just have regular white vinegar. You can use apple cider vinegar. You can fruit vinegars, all kinds of vinegars out there, but not a ton, just a little bit. And I just have olive oil. Canola oil works really good. Any kind of oil works fine. I didn't get anything like peanut oil because people have allergies. You don't want to mess with that. And always a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. You have like herbs, fresh herbs right now, throw those in there, that'll add a lot of flavor. The other nice thing about something like this, it's almost like a coleslaw, but it's without all the dressing on it, and the color, right? The purple and the red and the greens and the yellow from the corn, very pretty, very colorful, so it's very summery this time of year. We'll try that. The last thing I've got is just a really quick saute. Everybody know what a saute? Okay, so just a little saute pan, little bit of oil. You don't need a lot of oil. Nice and hot. A little bit of fat, your oil or some kind of a fat, and then just quick cooking. with squash, like zucchini, or the yellow crookneck squash, the yellow summer squash, they're very inexpensive and they're everywhere this time of year. This one is huge. This is a gigantic zucchini. So, but they come a lot smaller, but different sizes. But they are all over. And the nice thing about these type of squash is that they'll pick up flavor from everything else. By themselves, they're not super flavorful, but if you cook them with other things, it's going to pull that flavor in. It's going to add a lot more flavor, more interesting to eat it that way. So what I've got is I've got some of that zucchini, onion, garlic, and then at the end I'll throw a little bit of tomato in there just for a little bit of color. You don't want to put the tomato in too soon because then it'll just break down and turn into mush. So I want big chunks of tomato, so I'll add them towards the end. My pan is really, really hot. So my tomato, I'm going to do my onions first. If you're not into flipping food, just have a spatula and you can stir it. That works. I got a little bit of green pepper. Let's throw those in there. You always want to try to start with the things that'll take the longest to cook. The zucchini is going to cook very fast. So if we add that too soon, it'll get really soft and really mushy. We want it to be almost like pasta, where it's got a little bite to it, a little bit of bite, not mushy. So we want to add things longer first, and then as they cook, then we start adding new things and new things. Cook a little bit. Garlic. It's always good to add your garlic, but you don't want to add it too soon because it'll burn pretty quickly. So we want to cook it a little bit and then add something else to kind of stop the cooking so it doesn't burn our garlic. Throw that in there. My hands are clean, I promise. I'll wash my hands. Yes? I had it pretty hot, so now I have it down just below medium, so just under medium. I always like to start my pans really hot and then add my fat. Especially with a saute, because you'll get that nice color and it won't stick as well. If you start with a cold pan and slowly heat it up with the food in there, your food will stick more often. So start hot and then turn it down. Students and people who are just cooking in a commercial kitchen don't realize that there's more than one setting. It's not high all the time. You can turn it down. So medium is good. Medium low is good. Okay, I'm going to add my zucchini.
Cut up the little pieces?
What's that?
Did they cut up the little pieces?
Yeah, so what I did, since it's so big, as big as that was, I just basically took it and I quartered it. So I just took it, quartered it. So now I have 4 pieces. And then I just cut them into little wedges. It was so big. If you have the smaller ones, you keep them round and just slice them. But this is such a big zucchini, I kind of quartered it first. A little bit of salt. A little bit of pepper.
What kind of salt should we use? What kind of salt?
Salt, I like to use kosher salt. I don't know if you guys use a lot of different kinds of salt. Sea salt and kosher salt. Because the salt, the crystals are larger, it makes it taste saltier and you can use less of it. So then your sodium goes down and it's healthier for you. If you use table salt, they're really, really small and it takes a lot of it to make your food salty. So it's not as good for you. Add our tomatoes here at the end. We'll let that cook here a little bit. Any other questions? You don't ever come across a vegetable, you're not sure what to do with it. You're afraid to get it because you're not sure what it's going to taste like.
Yeah, that's just zucchini like that. Jello. Like you cook it right now, that's like this. How you cook that? Some people like cut it and make lasagna out of it or something like that.
Right, so with the zucchini, you can take like a cheese grater and you can run it a long way across the grater and it'll peel off like long strands. And you just boil it. It doesn't take very long, maybe like 3-4 minutes. and then you can kind of use that like pasta.
Yeah.
A lot of people who can't have flour, the gluten-free, that's an alternative. A lot of times people will slice it too. Use it like lasagna noodles.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like how, yeah, like that.
You just slice it the same thickness. You can go the long way or the short way, and then just cut the same, and just use it like noodles in between your layers. It works the same. Yeah. Eggplant, have you ever had eggplant? Eggplants are big and purple. They'll do the same thing. You
I don't know how
can
to
use.
take it, but I don't like it.
Yeah, it's bland. It's kind of like zucchini. It flavors whatever you cook with it more than anything else. Yeah, it's not bad. It's just they're kind of boring by themselves. But you cook it with other things. And those tomatoes. So our tomatoes will cook down, add a little bit of moisture in there too. If it looks a little dry and you want sauce, you can add a little water, a little chicken stock or vegetable stock. That'll help add a little liquid. The tomatoes will cook down, add a little bit of water, make it a little softer. Back up here for a minute. What other things have you come across? Anything else? The eggplant. It's like I said, it's kind of neutral, boring by itself. So if you cook it with other things, like Italian cooking, what they'll do is they'll slice it and then they'll bread it. So they'll do your breading procedure, flour, egg, breadcrumbs, and then brown it, like pan fry it. They put tomato sauce and Parmesan cheese on it. It's eggplant Parmesan. And that's actually good. It's crunchy on the outside from frying it, soft on the inside, because eggplant's kind of a soft vegetable. It's different, but it works. And you can use it just like you do your zucchini too. So instead of zucchini, you could do the same thing and saute it with eggplant. And it's going to pick up the flavor from everything else. And it's got a nice soft texture to it. Meaty kind of a texture. What else? Any others? Eggplant's usually a good one. What about rutabagas or turnips? Use a lot of the rutabaga or turnips. You know, they're roots. So they're very popular in the fall. A lot of soups. You see them in a lot of soups. Yeah. Yeah. People don't use them like they should. They're really good for it. I know. We're trying to change that. We gotta get that back out there so you know how to cook and to eat good food. What's another good one? Beets? What about beets? Oh, beets! We should have got some beets. I would make you try them. They're really good. They are roast them, little salt and pepper. Pickled
and then cooked pickled.
Yeah. Yeah. You can boil them until they're soft, and then just slice them up, little salt and pepper. Good. A smoothie? They put beets in smoothies now. This guy's like tastes kind of like dirt. Yeah. You cook it right, it's not so bad. Alright, just turn that down. Good. Soft, not too soft. And then you could serve this with rice, you could serve this with noodles, you could serve this with just like as it is with a meat of some kind. So all of those work really well. The book that you'll get, I always like to point this out. The book that you're going to get has a lot of helpful sources in it. So if you're not sure how to use a certain vegetable or a fruit, there's a couple fruits in there too. So say okra. You're not sure what to do with okra. It tells you when is a good time to pick it, how you know if it's good, how to clean it, and then it gives you 2 to 3 recipes on cooking it. So all of these are good resources. You get to the store, you're at the farmer's market, you got your book with you, and you're like, oh, what do I do with summer squash? There's a couple extra recipes for zucchini and yellow squash. Let's see, rutabagas, rhubarb. I don't know if there's a lot of rhubarb people in here, but rhubarb is more than just pie. You can actually make savory, like stewed rhubarb with it. It's different, but it's good. Let's see, rutabagas and turnips. There's the recipes in there for that. How to know if it's good, how to know how to clean it, how to store it. And so it's a great resource that you're going to get to take home with you today to kind of help if you come across something you're not sure how to use it. So definitely use that. Keep that with you, so you know if you come across something, you know how to use it. What other questions do you have? Anything?